Hey guys, welcome to SkateHoarders. Another hard-hitting issue episode here. But yeah, I'm going to show you my collection here, I guess. Let's see what we got first up. We got a sweet Clint Peterson board, circa 2011, I believe. Clint would burn these at Stereo when I worked there. I was lucky enough to pick one up at his art show. I really like the sort of distinguished gentleman look, especially with Clint, because he's just a character. The pipes, the cigars, and cigarettes, and yeah, it just reminded me of Clint. This actually was Robbie McKinley's chocolate Heacock series, bar series. I added the Scott board over here. Basically, I just need the York board to complete it. So eventually the York board will come over here, but other than that, we got Richard Mulder, Gino, Kian, Chico, Stevie, Scotts. We just need you York right here. The Class Clown board. Yeah, this was actually Rob Dyrdek's couch, circa 2001, I believe. That was given to me by Mike O'Mealy somehow. So this was a skate pad. This was like a full-fledged skate pad starting around 1999. I did have kids in 2012, so it's now morphing into a family pad. So you'll see some ponies and unicorns, all with the skate stuff. Any good hoarder will have a good walk-in closet to just kind of stuff stuff in until it spills out. This closet, in 2004, I moved out of here, and it was just packed with board boxes. So I shipped everything in here to France back then in my parents' house, and it's been sitting in their basement. So there's basically like a stash of boards from 2000 to 2003 that's just kind of sitting there. Sweet Chick Hearn painting that my brother-in-law didn't want, so somehow it's hanging in my hallway and it scares my kids. Got a signed Hensley board here. I did some writing for Hensley, the Hensley family. They paid me with a board. I did some writing for Brian Lottie when he did Telegraph, so he sent me some artwork. So I'm a big Brian Lottie fan. And the fact that he walked away from skateboarding to become like a Zen Buddhist, I mean, come on, it's pretty amazing. So, and he's just the best, style-wise, just amazing. Good artist too. So this is my office here. Like I said, it's sort of morphing into my son's bedroom. So you got Lightning McQueen sheets over here, which are a nice, they kind of match the, kid-alt, skate hoarder, skate nerd vibe. So I wanted this board, specifically this one. I think it's 88, 89. I just wanted it more than anything. I remember my friend had it, and I bought this when I worked at Skateboarder for a couple $100, and that's when I got heavy into collecting, basically. Just hoarded a bunch of boards. OG Gon's board, a couple $100. I bought it probably in 2001. Same deal here. This one I bought probably for $120. OG Neil Blender. Probably one of my favorite graphics. Blender is just an amazing human. Picasso is an amazing artist. I don't know, just rad mix. Tommy G, Corey O'Brien. I got Jason Lee to sign this Bowie board when I worked at Stereo. So that was pretty cool. He crossed out David Bowie to put my name in there. Made me feel real special. The skate video altar, I actually like the VHS better on the tube. It just has like a depth to it that doesn't exist on the flat screen. This was like all our West LA crew back in the day. So a lot of people that we skated with and that came to this apartment and hung out were like in this video, so it was pretty special. This is H Street Next. That's Jason Rogers right there. He lent me this. I wrote an article about Alf. He lent me this about 10 years ago, and I still have it, so sorry, Jason. This is yours. And JP Jadid gave this to Jason, I believe, so sorry to both of you. Any good skate nerd should own a copy of Street Cinema. Your collection is invalid without it, obviously. When I started working at TransWorld, I raided the warehouse there, I remember. I think with Ben Kelly. I was kind of out of my mind. But they had all the original VHSs in the plastic, and I was just like, dude, I got like 2 of each, I think. But these are just like gold to me. I think the VHS, it's almost more valuable now. Like, I don't even need to play it. I just like the actual artifact of it. It's like an artifact, and these are sick. I love VHS at this point. This is obviously a heavy VHS you should own. French Fred. French Fred used to come down and skate the plaza where we skated in the south of France. So I knew him since we were little kids. And it's a funny story, actually. when he started making Minik Mahdi, I remember he was still working for Puzzle, and great video too. But he hit me up to do the animation for the map. I had my first job as a graphic designer, and I knew a little After Effects, but I was too shy to take it. So I think Akko Jefferson did the map, but originally I was supposed to do that. So funny story. See, I got the courthouse stage skate stopper. I happened to roll down there the day they were pulling these off, and just grabbed one. It's pretty special. Jake Rosenberg sent me this sky print, pretty special. Michael Mealy gave me this back in 2001 when I interviewed Rocco. It's like kind of one of my first big interviews. And it's kind of cool because I hung it in this corner. I used to have a desk here, probably in like 2000. And the night Rocco called me, like I had been trying to get a hold of him for like weeks, months. And he called me when I was sitting at this desk. And so like I liked that the pictures hung here because it's just like sentimental. TransWorld DGK collab. I think every dude at TransWorld had like 50 pairs of these somehow because we just got them. Little non-PC, little molesters. The Jason Hernandez filmer wheel by Hi-Fi. These are really good actually. I rolled on a bunch of these good cruiser wheels. This artwork's from my friend Dear Chris. He does company Dear. I think he had painted this one and this, there's a Rocco bear over there. And I kept telling him he's a fine artist. And this was like his first forays into like messing with anything skate related. So I'd like to believe that I was helped encourage him to like start Deer and do all that. I was digging through the TransWorld kind of archive closet. I found this 1989 calendar, I think 2 years ago. It synced up to the same days as 1989. So I had it like for that whole year I was able to use this calendar. And it's pretty sick. There's like a bunch of photos in here that never ran in the mag. So I got more boards over here. This was from Dwindle. This is just a Geno 101 top graphic. So they never screened the bottom. You can see it was like a world board. They would rescreen basically. I think Robbie McKinley or Cameron grabbed this and somehow I ended up with it. I'm a big fan of Polar, honestly. I've had this Ponus board forever and I meant to skate it, but I just can't skate it. That's like the disease of the hoarder. It's like you can't even skate the board and you want to skate it. And I know that like, it's probably not like, you know, I'm not going to look at this in 20 years and like, or maybe I will, but there you go. I love this. I love Ponus. I love everything he does. This is a 1999 Sean Sheffy board, March Madness series. And it looks like it's seriously like 5 inches wide. I don't know how Sheffy would skate these, but big Ben Gore fan. We were super stoked when Ben went pro when I worked at Stereo, so I kept this one. I don't know if you younger kids know who Chris Gentry was, but it's kind of like a precursor to Jeremy Rogers, maybe. If that's fair? Probably better than Jeremy Rogers, though. Look up Chris Gentry. It's another skinny board. It's crazy that this is like a collector's thing now. Like, to me, this is still like a new board, you know? Like, oh, I won't show this. This is like from yesterday. This was Cliché's like second version of the USA #1 board, circa 1991. Is this like 10 years old now? We should add like a vape tube or something, right? Al Baglio sent me this. This is from Screaming Squeegees, so it's like an OG silkscreen Cliché Kill 'Em All board. I think when I started collecting, honestly, the 80s boards, my eye was like drawn to that silkscreen. It's like the detailed silkscreen on the boards. I don't know, I just kind of nerd out on it. The Danny OC Blade Runners board, famous board. This is Danny Wade, Jason Jesse, Ron Chapman, Todd Congealier, Gons, and Jay Lee. Sweet Guy Aries, quality shoe. Wish they made them like this still. Then you gotta have a couple of just weird ones, like these Telfords. Holy shnikes. I think I wore these once. These came out probably, I think, 2009, 8. I remember wearing them once and thinking it was pretty normal. How crazy is that? My wife's brother used to work at Lakai, and he's a big shoe nerd, so he collected a bunch, and then now he's having kids, and he had to purge. So he gave me these and another pair of guys right here. I think they're Costin ones. I can't have my kids wear these, I don't think. Although they might fit them. These are kind of OG shirts that I saved for me, but I still rock them. Like this is Mike Vallely Barnyard. I bought this shirt off Jason Dill at skate camp. I think we were both maybe like 12, and I'm pretty sure I begged him to sell it to me because I told him about this recently. I was interviewing him for something like a month ago, and he was shocked that he was selling product now. But I'm pretty sure he's wearing this shirt in the A1 Meets video. There's a clip of him just like rolling with his tail, and he's kind of like doing this weird thing in slow motion. You'll see this shirt. So there you go. That's pretty good. Keeper, right? This is Skate Camp 1990. This was my camper shirt. When I worked at Stereo, we would hang this during playoffs. Justin Maruco, who was the brand manager, was a Boston fan. So we would hang this. Jeff Vallis and I, the art director, would hang this on our side of the office as the kind of Lakers flag. Schmidt Sticks Chris Miller. Super faded, but probably one of the best shirts ever. I'm super into Mike Leone, Raza Libre. These are like 2001, 2, 2003 maybe, but fuck, so good. This is Eric Stricker. Passed away 10 years ago to the day, 3 days ago. Still Mike Leone, I think. He was at 4-Star back in the day. I loved all the stuff he did for 4-Star. Just such good type, super creative. I'm a big fan of like early 2000s workshop. I love this shirt. I have a bunch of alien boards packed away, like the really good series, and those are the ones I gotta unpack. When I was a kid, this was the jam. This was like your Supreme shirt, basically. Circa 1988, this was the hottest shit you could have. If you saw Shackle Me Not, you knew this shirt meant like you were on the cutting edge of tech. So in 2006, Dead Hippie is kind of my Instagram, but it was actually my shirt company back in 2006. These were some of the shirts we were selling at the Hot Rod shop. I'm glad I bought this last year, the reissue, given that obviously Gabriel passed. I had no idea about any of that. I was so shocked when I saw that. Like I saw him at Lockwood for the Adidas thing, and people were kind of wondering like, hey, Gabriel, what's going on with Gabriel? He looks a little sick. I had no idea, but this board was critical. Just been getting more into trying to keep new old stock shirts. It's like crack them open when they're like 20 years old. And then even the skateboarder stuff too, it's so good, I just couldn't grab it all. That Carroll photo, the back heel, Bryce Knight's photo in the Mission. There's a lot of really good Lakai shirts. I felt like at this point when they started doing like simple kind of graphics and stuff, like this was kind of when I fell in love with TransWorld, I guess I would say. I fell in love with TransWorld in the 80s, and then with the Thai kind of video onslaught was when I like fell in love with it. Sweet Mike Fraser 44s. I'm sure Mike Fraser was doing like half cab blunt back when 80 Disaster revered on him with no problem. Alex Olson used to sit out in the living room out there and wait for Chris Roberts to drive him home. That's all. Little Peppermint Patty. He would sit out there, but I do love all the stuff he's doing. I think he's rad, and I'm stoked that it's working for him. This was a sick board. Grace Jones. Got a couple Cliche books. I wrote that for Cliche back in 2010. I interviewed everyone in the company, mostly Jeremy Dacklin, and kind of wrote their whole story. So this is like Freedom Fries video comes out. And it has the Freedom Fries. This was a super cool project. I have like millions of magazines here. I've shown this one before. This was pretty much the first issue I got. This is like a new version of it because mine was pretty much torn apart. It's like, I know it's just paper and it's like ink on paper, but I mean, if it's magical to us, I guess, it's magic, right? So if you don't know what Action Now is, this is the reason Thrasher started, because Skateboarder basically switched from this to this. So they decided, due to like the skate parks closing down, that they were gonna do like BMX, all this action sports together. So Independent and Santa Cruz decided to start Thrasher in response to that. But this is the last issue of Action Now, and that's Neil Blender doing probably the best pivot you'll ever see. Back when I worked at Skateboarder 2, like I said, I was a heavy pack rat. Pretty sweet invite here. We could go if it was still happening. This was the first intro I ever got to write. It was a huge deal to me. I felt like super honored. I ran with this Michael Mealy photo, Bobby Puglio with the World Trade Center. This was one of my favorite tongue-in-cheek articles. I still think this is some of my best writing. We actually opened a hot rod skate shop in France for a year in 2005. So this is my official trademark. There's a stereo skateboard script for a Fuel documentary. This is something I co-wrote with Jason Lee. Giovanni Ribisi was supposed to read the voiceover, but Fuel kind of like tanked it before we got there. But still pretty cool. I know these are quality. You probably can't see these, but yeah, 2000 was a wild time, man. This is Karma Shasef getting arrested at Tampa. I think Pacanelli shot these, but somehow I have them. It's pretty sweet. This was me and Oliver Barton on the promenade in Nice during the Riviera tour. Basically, I got to take kind of like my selected group of pros and ams. I got to bring them back to where I grew up in the south of France. And it's probably it's still my favorite tour to this day. And on video, even did like a thing on it. So it's just like pretty amazing. Skate Crew, circa 1992. There's me with a Max Evans Everslick Black Label. My friend Mehdi had the Costin Slick. And that's my friend Toto who opened that four-wheel shop. There we go. Keenan up in Malibu. That was the year before at the same party that he passed away at. But Keenan was a good dude. We would see him around. Costa Rica. There we go. Papalardo, Welsh, Joey Pepper, Ben Colin, Kevin Taylor. That was a skateboarder tour. Pretty exciting. A lot of drugs. Abe, Stevie. Skaters and Drugs. Fittingly with the Jason Dill cover photo. So this is the intro photo. I kind of directed this shot. It might be good trivia if anyone could figure out who that is. I'll leave it to you guys, but I've always assumed that would be the best like skate trivia question I could come up with because people would be pretty surprised. But we shot that in Michael Mealy's bathroom. I have this article on my website, and it's still the most traffic. It's always got traffic. I don't know. I guess drugs draw people in. And the Deerdick one gets the most traffic, of course, because I think people just Google, like, Rob Deerdick cocaine, and somehow his coke quotes come up. I grew up looking at skate mags. To me, that was the truth. It was just, like, the highest form of anything. So to get to work at skate mags was pretty epic. This is my hometown right here, and that's my friend Toto filming right there. It was a big deal even just to see like the crest of our city. We've never really had any skate coverage, so it was a big deal to me. And I had a blow up of this hanging in my skateboarder office, and it was like my pride and joy. You know, people would walk in, I had it behind me. It was just like, yep, that was my tour. And the Penny, this is the Penny interview from that tape. The best Michael Jackson album, according to Tom Penny, is obviously Thriller. I also have an abundance of interview tapes here. So when I went back to France recently, I grabbed, I have a box over here. Show you. I don't know how I found it, but somehow when I left Skateboarder, I was like manic enough to label all this. So basically I've been pulling these out. There's Ollie Gelfin, but it's basically there's Skaters and Drugs. Basically it was all the skateboarder interviews. But I've been putting some of them up on my YouTube, so I was messing with this one. This is like Tom Penny interview from 2003. But yeah, I got Rosa, let's see, Harold Hunter. I got a bunch. I got Jay Adams too. I've been meaning to like basically put them all on my YouTube, or I want to get them out somehow. This is Tom Penny talking about Chad Muska meeting Michael Jackson, so pretty rad.
Did you hear about him going to like meet Michael Jackson and all that?
Yeah, we were talking about that.
What did he say about that?
He was just, because Chad doesn't really give a fuck if no one's famous or what they do or whatever.
Yeah.
And he just said he's really nice, like they got on really well, they became good friends. He showed him all around his mansion.
Chad wasn't tripping at all, just like...
No, not really. Obviously he was, for a few things.
Yeah.
He said he was there with Stevie too, and Stevie's mum was there. They bought him 50 Michael Jackson was doing a moonwalk to 50 Cent.
Oh, man. And did he go back at all, you know what I mean? Like, I heard he was kind of like, yeah, he's totally, like, made friends with the dude.
Yeah, I don't think he's been back, no.
Yeah. Would you go meet Michael Jackson?
I'd love to. I was saying to Chad, next time you go back, give me a ring, and I'll come down there with you. But I doubt it'll ever happen, but I hope so.